Awesome. Hey everyone, welcome to That Pedal Show. Dan here.
Mick here. Welcome to NPD.
NPD.
New pedal day. Sorry for the extended wig out at the beginning.
It was lovely.
Got the Jones in.
I love that guitar. It's a really beautiful sounding thing.
It's a 1970 Fender Strat for anyone who's not au fait. Okay, new pedal day. We've done this for over the years where we just put a bunch of new stuff on the board, or at least new to us, and have a listen. Today's pedals are, Daniel.
We have the Mark II compressor from Empress Effects.
Yeah, there are two pedals from Victory Amplification, the Copper and the Sheriff V1 series pedals that have been done in conjunction with Thorpe.
Yes, indeed. And we have a cranker, not any cranker, but a special cranker from Earthquaker Devices.
And finally, Fender Hammertone series, what's it called? Space Delay.
The Space Delay.
Yeah, which sounds very cool actually on first listen. Okay, let's start at the beginning then.
In groovy.
Yes.
So Mark II compressor, this is something that I had a little while ago, and I used it on the what's it called? The Fraser Like Gilmore video.
The Mark II or the
Mark II.
I? Oh, okay.
Mark II. Now, what's really cool about this compressor, apart from it being an amazing studio compressor in a pedal,
yeah,
you can also do sidechain compression with it. It's got a little mini jack on the back that you can send and return with.
Ah, so it have.
Yes, it's very, very groovy.
If you don't know what sidechain compression is, Google it. It's something that's used in studios everywhere. It's a very groovy effect.
Yeah.
So it's got a separate loop in and out for that.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes, it's very cool.
I noticed on the top here we've got our controls that we would associate with most compressors: attack, release, ratio, which is really handy. Set at
10-1, I think, at the moment, isn't
yeah, 2, 4, and 10-1 options. And what's really nice is a mix.
So we've got a full gamut of 100% compression to 100% dry and everywhere in between, which is really lovely.
Do you happen to know what type of compressor it is?
Pedal.
A pedal compressor. Yeah. Okay. No doubt on the Empress website you can find out what type of compressor it is. Come on then, Dan. You like compressors?
I do.
We'll start in the 2-1, so fairly even level of compression, as it were. We ran the gamut.
Yes.
We started fairly low ratio compression, low level of input, quite high level of output, so it's headroomy. And you heard that right at the end there, so it can function as a boost.
Yeah.
Tone on and off so you can get it to sit right, and then went to fairly extreme levels of 10 to 1 compression, plus huge input, not much output.
But I love that you've got control over the input and output levels.
Yeah.
It's really cool. So, how much signal you're putting into that compression circuit is great. And the tone control
Yeah, really useful.
is fantastic.
Many of you who use compressors or have tried compressors and not got on with them will have noticed a change in the EQ to some significant degree. I always notice it as too much top end. So having the ability to roll that back a bit. So one thing I just want to try is that Dan was all about the front of the note with a compressor, the kind of attack, which is what we associate with them with. I'm interested in the back end, the sustain. So on single notes, it can be really useful if you're using a clean sound, just to get some of those notes to hold on. So if I don't have that, so fairly rudimentary demonstration of it, but
Very effective.
yeah, indeed. And what's really nice about the mix control is you don't lose the very front of your note, which can, when we put an overdrive on in a sec, can be really useful. What are your thoughts then, Dan? You've used it a lot, so.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. So if you get into studio compressors, and you've spent a lot of time with studio compressors, and you understand them a lot better than I do, but they can get really complicated.
Yeah.
And with compression, a tiny change can go a long way. So unless you're really au fait with studio compressors, it can get overwhelming. This to me has got the perfect balance of all the things that you need from a high-end compressor, but keeping it guitar friendly.
Yeah, I mean, it's not stereo, but other than that, although you've got the sidechain capability, but not left and right stereo, but I could easily use that as outboard.
Right. Yeah, that's great.
So
the other thing I just make quick note of, like compared to my Dynacomp, it's really quiet, and in a compressor that if you're using it as an overt guitar compressor, that when you want to squash everything, sometimes that noise in the compressor can be really overwhelming
because it's boosting
everything,
the bottom level, isn't it? So it's boosting all the noise as well.
But they go to great lengths in this to make the circuit as quiet as possible, which is greatly appreciated.
Very nice.
Yeah, very good.
Okay, then 3 overdrive pedals today. As we said, V1 series from Victory, which is new. It began with the V4 tube overdrive preamp large format pedals.
Have they worked backwards?
I don't think there's a V3. Maybe there is a V2.
V2, V1.
Anyway, V1, no valves, straight overdrive pedals, designed in conjunction with Thorpe. And in the family of Victory, you've got the Jack, Countess, Sheriff,
Jill,
Duchess,
Pete.
Kraken.
Nice.
I think I've got all the ones there, and there's a corresponding V1 series pedal. We've put 2 on today so that we can kind of compare and contrast.
Yep.
Copper is broadly the EL84 Voxy voiced one.
Okay.
Sheriff is broadly the EL34 Marshall kind of tonality.
The law enforcement series.
So I guess you could call these the 2 mid-gain options, where the Kraken's going to be more higher gain, progressive music kind of thing, but also actually a great rock tone, and the Duchess will be the lower gain.
Right.
And if I've missed any, sorry. Okay, come on then, Dan. You like Voxy things.
I do like Voxy things.
We haven't actually said what our amps are today, which are the PRS HDRX20, which is broadly a 20-watt Marshall circuit, and a Fender Deluxe reverb. So Marshall-y, Fender-y, mixed together.
Glorious.
All right, go for it, Sonny Jim. When we were up there on the gain, did you have the volume on the guitar up?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
On the gain, when I was playing heavy, yeah.
Let's try that again. That's really nice. So
That's really nice.
one of the I don't know if it's a criticism or an observation I've made about Victory stuff down the years. It's always got more gain than I need in it.
Sure.
Martin Kidd, the chief designer at Victory, flipping loves.
He loves a bit of gain.
Hello, Martin, if you're watching. And his approach to overdrive is just the most gloriously. I mean, it's rock, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he's definitely got his own sound. But that, even maxed out, to me, was a really super usable amount of gain in a sort of classic scenario.
It's great.
What are your thoughts as an AC lover?
I think the hardest thing to get right in an AC style pedal is the chime.
Yeah.
I think Martin and Thorpe have done an amazing job.
The tone control in the centre there works like the cut control on an AC type amp, so it gets bassier the more you turn it round to the right. One thing we were noticing as we were setting it up was actually it can be really super incredibly trebly. I'll try it with some humbuckers in a sec, but this guitar is in E flat, by the way, in case you were wondering. I think that might come into its own into a gainy amp.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Where you need to drive those treble frequencies a bit more.
Right.
But it can be a bit abrasive at lower volumes, at lower gain levels, in which case just cut it a bit more, a bit less treble. Pretty killer.
That's really cool.
Let's hear some humbuckers
Really
in it.
cool.
Won't change a thing. Obviously, we're up a half a step.
There's a way that an AC3212 couples that gives you this bass subby thing. That's in the bottom end of that.
No way.
That you hear that it's almost like an octave down
Yeah.
thing in the bottom end. It's really cool.
Nice.
Really cool.
Nice gamut, plenty of headroom. We
Yeah.
always associate that with Thorpe designs especially, but tons and tons of volume on tap there if you want it. So from there then to the Sheriff, which is the more overtly martially voiced one. I'll just keep the guitar the same. Hear immediately that high mid-range.
Mr. Smith would love that.
Sorry, I could just keep doing that all day.
You've got a swing in your rock playing that is divine. It really is amazing.
This is why I can't play rock.
No, it sounds great.
I can't play on the beat.
Honestly, as soon as you start playing that riff stuff, I start going, ooh, come on. It's great.
Have a swang on that, Dan.
Okay. That's a bit much for me.
Go on then. Again, I could just keep doing that all day.
That sounds really lovely.
So nice and Hendrixy.
Yeah, the first time was on after you had the Les Paul, because this guitar is so flippin' I just couldn't get a handle on it because there's so much gain there. But with that gain dialed back a bit for this guitar, it was like, all the notes there, really lovely.
Remember, kids, less gain, more volume.
There you go.
That old man show. It's true.
That pensioner.
Nice. I tell you what I really like. Obviously they're both overdrive pedals. They're both amp flavored. The Sheriff has just enough of that really super aggressive upper mid range that you would associate with something like a Plexi. But actually, if you stand next to a Plexi and hear it, can be really unpleasant and aggressive. I think they've dialed enough in.
Sure.
To give the flavour,
but
not the complete amount, which is just like,
can be unusable.
That's hard work.
Yeah.
Killer.
Really fantastic.
Yeah. They sound open.
Yeah.
They sound big. We often say about some overdrive pedals, they can sound small. They can lack, for want of a better word, fidelity, but there seems to be headroom. There seems to be great dynamic range to allow the guitars to sound as they should.
Also, they had a starting point. Yeah. You know what I mean? They had those, because those V4 pedals are awesome. Yeah, and it's like, okay, this is the start point. We've got to try and match these EQ wise, gain structure wise.
I would go as far as to say that with a normal standard amp, normal pedal board, straight in the front kind of arrangement, they're considerably easier to use and get great tone out of.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah,
very
nice,
cool.
Nice, good work, chaps. We'll listen to the others in time. Special cranker then from Earthquaker Devices.
Cranker.
This came out a while back, but it's the first time we've really had a look at it. They had a pedal called a speaker cranker, and this is the evolution of that. So it has, Daniel, the more control is to do with our old favourite bias.
Okay.
To the transistor. Tone rolls off highs counterclockwise, boosts, flat response around 3 o'clock. Blah, 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 blah. Now, more interestingly, the diode selector, germanium on the left for a softer and more transparent tone, silicon on the right for a brighter and more modern edge. They say, think of it like an extra gain stage in your amp.
Okay.
Gagne.
Okay. Ah, 2 o'clock, baby. That sounds incredible.
To be fair, it is exactly what they say. That whole extra preamp stage, it sounds exactly like that.
The front,
Just more.
It's more, but the front of that note, dig in a little bit.
I'll do this
sounds
and then I'll have a go on some
awesome.
Have a go on some hums in a minute, and we'll try some lower gain sounds. We started on the germanium diodes and then went to the silicon ones. Bit more headroom in the silicon ones, bit brusher. It genuinely does sound like turning the deluxe reverb up.
Yeah. Wow.
Doesn't it? You know, when you go from like up into sort of 7 on the deluxe reverb.
Yeah. And all the stuff that entails.
And again, it starts crapping out a bit in the bottom end, and
That's a very special cranker.
let's try some humbuggies. I remember being at an event with Hughes and Kettner once in Germany, and we were basically locked in this basement and made to drink booze for about 3 days.
Oh, heavens.
And there's this guy there, and I'm going to have to Google him to remember his name. Jimmy, I think his name was. And he did a Phil Lynott and Thin Lizzy, did just a bunch of songs back to back, and he played Rosalie, and it was great. And that was, Rosalie was in my head there, probably wrong key.
I thought you were playing Simply Irresistible. Da, 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 da.
Yeah, it's probably the wrong notes and the wrong key and everything, but that doesn't matter. Nice. So what it's doing, without doubt, is some of that fizzy you're hearing is without doubt the speakers starting to give up a bit in the amps, especially as 10s in this cabinet, 2 gold Alnico Gold 10s. So you're starting to hear that on the top a bit, and it's pushing the amp in a tremendously musical way. I just want to go back onto the G's a sec, have a bit less of that and a bit more of that, and just see in a sort of slightly lower gain environment for a minute. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Harmonics across the board. Very nice indeed. Sorry, my ears just starting to tickle a bit. Awesome.
Really awesome.
Really great.
Awesome.
On the edge. Very nice indeed.
Yeah.
It reminds me actually of the Zvex SHO.
Yeah,
A little
yeah.
bit. What's the other one I'm trying to think of?
The Warthog.
Not so much that. Basically, anything that's based off that long chip
Oh, the big
multiple
CMOS thing. Yeah, yeah.
transistor stages.
Right.
It reminds me of that.
The Red Llama.
Red Llama, that kind of thing. Just
Okay.
is like considerably more.
What I get that transistor attack,
Yeah.
you know, which is really the way that grabs the front of the note reminds me of the Warthog, where it's like it's just like it's so
Yeah.
quick. Yeah,
It's
really
very
love
cool.
it. Really,
For
love it.
those of you looking for the classic more, don't want to change stuff too much, but have some, you know, where just a straight ahead boost might be a little bit too simplistic. That's a great.
The Church of Tone.
I don't know. Yeah, not familiar with that.
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of similar. Anyway, yeah, it's really cool.
Cool.
Really cool.
Finally, then, you heard it a little bit so far. Fender Hammertone Space Delay. This is Fender's more cost-effective range of pedals. I'm assuming they're all finished in a hammered paint finish, are they?
Yeah.
Is that what they call them, Hammertone?
Come on.
Yeah, well, maybe it requires less finishing finesse, as it were. So if there are flaws in the paint and stuff like that, it doesn't matter so much.
Well, I mean, the Hammerite finish is ancient.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know, it's just a really cool
It probably
thing.
says in Fender's marketing why they're like that. Anyway, it looks cool, cost effective, and sounds pretty decent. So this is obviously harking to the Space Echo type tones,
Hark, a Space Echo.
tape delay type tones. It's pretty cool in that there's two switches on the top panel there that you can see. In the up position there, we just get a straight quarter note delay, Daniel. So what's that, about a second?
Not that, I don't think. I'm going to say it's, yeah, 600, 700.
More than 6, I think. I'm going to say between 800 and 1,000. Anyway, anyway, whatever. So there's that much. How short does it go?
Very short. Yeah, man.
One of the cool things you can do with really short delays is this. Almost bonkers little, almost pseudo ring mod. But what it's really all about, I think. Actually, let me just hear the tone of those repeats on a normal sort of delay sound down. One temptation in a tape type delay would be to crap off those repeats. Which you often get, but that stays nice and even all the way down.
Yeah.
Not as bright as a straight digital delay.
No.
Just kind of nice even decay.
Yeah, it's nice. It's really nice.
Oops, we've got the modulation turned on. Now, there's two other mode switches, which are both multi-head settings.
Nice.
So it's triplet and a. What's the second one? Is it our favourite?
So that's the multi-heads on the Space Echo, where you've got your 4 heads and you can choose the combinations of them.
Yeah, it doesn't say what they are. The bottom one definitely sounds triplety. I was wondering if the top one might be a dotted eighth and a quarter, but anyway, you can figure that out. In Finally, the modulation, which you either have or haven't been hearing yet, we're not quite sure which way the switch goes, is a standard depth and speed modulation that's adjustable in the back with 2 mini screws in the way that you can on a carbon copy. Sounds like this, we'll see. That's how you like it?
Yeah, just a little bit, so I guess a bit flangy.
I just want to see if... As always, with apologies to the Shads fans, AC30 type amp there, bit of tape delay, bit of compression. It's a very nice place to be for that single note kind of stuff. Sorry, I thought this guitar was set up for the wang bar to work, but it isn't.
Okay, is that just flat to the body?
Yeah, okay. That's coming up in a different video. I'll do that video. Really cool, man.
Very cool. Very nice.
Really cool. I think that if it isn't already, deserves to be pretty popular because it's so easy to use.
The
hammer tone, yeah,
killer.
Yeah.
There's been obviously Boss released their
RE202,
which is a fantastic thing. But if what you want is just a little bit of flavour of that multi-head delay, and it
gives you so many fewer things to worry about. It's just like they've made a load of decisions for you. It sounds great.
Yeah.
Happy days.
Yeah.
And they look cool as well.
They look cool. The hammer right's very nice.
It's important to me.
That's definitely. Definitely.
Okay.
Very good.
Yeah, well, thanks for being with us then. Usually sometimes 6, sometimes 5, sometimes 4 new pedals.
Beautiful. Thanks for joining us. Again, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Massive thank you to our preferred retailers. Massive thank you to all of our patrons on Patreon. And, of course, massive thank you to anyone that's gone to thatpedalshowstore.com and grabbed stuff.
Yes, stuff. And thatpedalshop.com if you're in the USA. We shall play you out by turning all the pedals on. I think it's my turn, Dan. I'm sorry to be such a,
Let battle commence.
Such a grabby little boy. He was such a grabby little boy.